Hi, everyone. This is Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. Clearly, we have a match on our hands between Australia and the West Indies happening at Metricon Stadium. Metricon Stadium is, in fact, an actual ground at on the Gold Coast of Sydney, not Sydney, sorry, of Queensland. It's a ground where I would argue it's kind of how can I describe? It's a ground which is really not one that you would expect there to be much play on normally, because it's normally an AFL ground rather than a rugby league ground. Sorry, than a cricket ground. So normally AFL, as in Australian football, or in rugby league on its day, was played on that ground. So there's quite a few debutants in this West Indies side, as you probably already know. The Australian side, I'll go through the sides with you right now. Australia have made, well, you would argue, a couple of surprises as well. Australia looked like they may be opening with Cam Green. Cameron Green might be opening still with Dave Warner. Mitch Marsh has come back in the side at number 3, which I applaud. Steve Smith is out. Aaron Finch at this point is at position 4. It could well be his place. Glenn Maxwell, Tim David, they've selected themselves. Matthew Wade is keeper. He's still I'm sure, in the vice captaincy role. Then the bowling strength that we know, Pat Cummins, Stark, and Hazel have all come back with Adam Zampa. So that's the Australians. So Daniel Sam, Steve Smith is the 12th man. Daniel Sam, Sean Abbott, and Josh English make up the 5th name in the squad. So just heard Brad Haddon and Mark Waugh talking. They keep hammering about why are we using Cam Green in the side? Why is he opening? Green should play. Well, he is playing here. Cam Green should. Why is he playing? He's not in the T20 squad. Well, hello. Obviously, Australia are planning on putting Cam Green in the Australian squad. They've got until October 15th to do so. So, pretty stupid commentary, to be honest with you. Why are they using Cam Green when he's not selected? Well, obviously, the intention is that he will be selected, as is Tim, as well as Tim David himself. There's quite a bit of speculation. So this side, with Green opening, potentially with Warner, Mitch Marsh, Finch, Maxwell, David, Wade, Cummins, Stark, Adam Zampa, and Hazel looks to me like an actual World Cup side. Steve Smith, understandably, he's not on the side. He's not the first choice selection. And at Metricon Stadium, the ball being apparently spongy is the term that we're hearing, a spongy ground. Again, it's tennis ball bounce. The ground is not A1, let's be honest. It's not a SCG, MCG, GABA scenario. Here it is a lesser ground and will play appropriately. So I don't know whether Australia realised the unnecessary nature of that. Anyway, the West Indies squad is quite incredible, actually. You've got Nicholas Pooran with Rovman Powley's first time to Australia, Alzari Joseph bowling, Brendan King, Kyle Mayers, who's playing well. Akil Hossain is one of the bowlers. Yannick Correa is actually leg spinner, apparently. Odean Smith, we know him. Shanmarsh Brooks, Johnson Charles, Evan Lewis, Sylvan Cottrell is well known. There was Dean McCoy and Raymond Reefer. I think he's another bolter into the squad. So, yes. So Suranjit Pradhan says Finch should play at 3. I think you'll probably find that Mitch Marsh will play at 3. So again, I've already posted about that as well. So Mohsin Sheikh is not here at the moment. He's actually coaching or is helping in the training of the Afghanistan side. We finished at 9 o'clock. In a couple of hours' time, he may still join us then if we're still on. So the Australians saying, look, with Mitch Marsh's return, Stoinis is still injured, so he's not there. I think this is now the makeup of the side. I think that Steve Smith won't be playing in the side as a regular player. Whether Green continues at opener, well, that's been played already and has actually worked. So I'm not going to take out that fact. I think Cam Green should continue open. Tim David should back there. We've got the future there and a couple of young blokes. Nicholas Pooran, of course, he has to deal with a situation where he's without Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer, of course, had to miss out. He's been effectively dropped by missing not 1 but 2 plane trips, which staggers me. I'm a little bit staggered by it. So how he could miss 2 flights. But also severe dealing with it. He was being dropped. If he's one of their leading batters and experienced as well, should he be in the side? I think he should be. So they're lining up now. Currently, as we speak, we can see the Australians saying in their rather the green pants, green shirt look. as opposed to the red and yellow of, or the maroon and yellow, I would argue, of the West Indies. They've got a distinctive young look to their side. West Indies have. In Australia, probably looking more towards that way. See, it's interesting how Glenn Maxwell is standing right next to Finch. Is he going to be the next captain, or perhaps vice captain? I think it'd be great to see Glenn Maxwell as the next captain, don't you? What's your thoughts? Green's opening, yes, our early best. I think that's good. So I made a late decision to make a broadcast though. This being, I think it's the 1413th broadcast, and they're going through the usual Aboriginal young and beat elder Ted Williams. He's been around quite a bit. Welcome to country. He's doing what they call a welcome to country. So this is 1413th video. 937 are recorded. This is the 476th live. In fact, that may not be right. Now that I look at it, I think I may have not got that right. What's this? What was that? Let's have a look. I think that might be the other answer. Getting a bit of an announcement there. So Australia have won the toss and elected to bowl. In case you didn't know.
Today, Army Parks here standing in front of you to give you the updates from Sydney. And so, as the ICC T20 Man World Cup,
it's actually wrong. So I need to do a bit of fixing there. That was wrong. I added that. It should really be 936 recorded and 477 live. This is a live show. So there we go. So another mistake there. Let's go into the initial part there. Edit, there we go. Edit, there we go. There we have it. So it should be reflected correctly now. So 1413 videos, 936 recorded, 477 live. So that's the occurrence there. We need to get that to NAF. Of course, this is somewhat of a. I'll put a correction through. Of course, this is somewhat of a. I'll put a correction through. Correction here. It is in fact, as opposed to 1433 videos, 936 recorded and 477 live. That's the correct version. Okay, so we'll see that. That's correct. Okay, we're all done now. Now, again, we'll go through the sides there for a moment. The Australian side is, if those are not aware, Australia's gone in with a very strong bowling lineup. Back to the original bowling lineup. So the Australian opening batters at this stage will be Cam Green with Dave Warner, Mitch Marsh at first drop. Looks like Aaron Finch is going at number 4, followed by Maxwell at 5, Tim David at 6, Matthew Wade at 7, and then you've got Zampa, Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark who are taking up the 11 in the team. On the West Indies side, of course, opening up now with, looks like Johnson Charles is opening up. He's one of the openers. I think it might be, we'll just wait and see who the other openers. I can't see who the other opener is at this point. Johnson Charles is certainly one. So the 11s. Might well be Brandon King this opening. I'm not sure. We're just going to see that in a minute. Definitely got actually Kyle Mayers is opening up. Kyle Mayers is opening up with Johnson Charles. So there's your opening partnership. Kyle Mayers, I didn't think he was an opener. I thought he was an upper order batsman, but not an opener necessarily. So we're going to see some action there. So Johnson Charles, T20I, he's 33 years old. He's not new. Okay. So there we have it. Ashwin Kartik, hi. This is not the gig. The guys from the gig, we're not doing that because it's specifically about this match. So we're going to wait and see. So they're waiting on 5-4-3, and I think, if I'm not wrong, it's Hazelwood opening the bowling here. And Johnson Charles probably is the one opening up as well, so supporting their fan pros. Black Power is being exercised here. It's a very fair, worthy cause. Patrick was taking his head off and doing it. That's great to see. Michael Spooner's there. I can see the media manager of West Indies here at Metricon Stadium, which is on the Gold Coast. Not a noted cricket ground by any means. Looks like quite a spongy surface, which means it'll just be tennis ball bounce. And here we have, in fact, the first over is going to be Mitchell Stark's actually opening up on Hazelwood. Mitchell Stark coming on to bowl the first delivery as we speak. And Kyle Mayers is actually facing with Johnson Charles at the non-strikers end at this point in time. So Ashwin Kartik, what have you done all your exams? Are you all done? Sam, is it Mitch Marsh and Cameron Green, one of the world dangerous players? Well, Cam Green certainly is. And let's be honest, Mitchell Marsh hasn't been around much lately, but he'll be a worthy inclusion. And he has to go to Steve Smith. Steve Smith is no longer a player to reckon with, especially in the T20 format. Kyle Mayer's got to get some nice big thick edge and gets 4 runs there early on. So Australia versus West Indies. West Indies have literally come off the plane in the last 24 hours. They've jumped off the plane, come straight out and played, which, you have to argue is not a great deal of preparation, but I guess you're getting straight away, which is, I guess, a good thing. For Kyle Mayers, he's been well known to be a hitter, and he's been scoring some big runs, actually. Full of all-rounders, we're seeing commentary here. And the West Indies like, yeah, well, Gwen Open, I think, Knowledge Vlogs, I think he will. So he's clipped away nicely. Looks like he's having a nice old little time there, Kyle Mayers, at this point in time. Russell Arnold, now Australian citizen. Of course, he is winner. Yeah, Russell Arnold is an Australian citizen, by the way. He's been here quite a few years now. So Kyle Mayers has taken 5 runs off 3 balls here. Good stuff. Ajit Mitra, who will be your 4 teams to play the semis this time? I would argue, well, I'm going to have to go for Australia, India, Pakistan, and England. They're my 4. West Indies, they're not even qualified yet, nor is Sri Lanka. You'll probably see Ireland also get through, but there's a few teams that have yet to be selected, have yet to qualify. They'll be in the early group stages. They actually start that campaign on the 16th, which is only, 11 days away. Not very far away at all. So that's a very interesting tournament. So we'll go through that a bit more in a minute, but it does look like Mitchell Stark looks a little bit wayward at the moment. Some Steve. Well, so this is going to be an interesting match indeed. So looks like West Indies are briskly. There's Johnson Charles, is that True Warner, who's tumbled over and he's got them back to, I think that was Tim David. So West Indies are done for 9 now. It's on the first day. This is a healthy start, certainly. I should start looking. So this is the first campaign in terms of the match at T20 in that format being played in Australia leading up to the World Cup. First, the matches, so Australia playing the West Indies. West Indies, of course, yet have not qualified for the World Cup. There's a Super 12, which we know there are only 8 teams through at this point in time, and we can go through them in a minute. And West Indies are not yet one of them, so that will be interesting to see what actually takes place there. I've actually posted about this, guys. You would have seen this already. And once down the leg side, it looks like another wide. That's so far Mitchell Stark's gone for 10 runs in the first over. That's not exactly the start you want. Matches, here we go. For the first round of the so-called Group A, There's Group A and Group B that lead into Group 1 and 2. So Group A and Group B, we should have a look at it. Sri Lanka play Namibia in the first round. Match 2 is UAE versus Netherlands. And then the West Indies play Scotland. Oh, that's a lovely drive there from Mayers, straight through the covers. That's 14 off the first over from Cummins. I keep saying Cummins. From Stark. Pretty ordinary start, isn't it? For Australia, 14 off the first. Beautiful, very aggressive. Why not? Nothing to lose. So let's just get to the Super 12 matches, which is match 1, as opposed to the first round matches. We'll just get that little set going at the standings. Okay. So in Group 1, sorry, we'll go back a bit. In Group A, which is Namibia, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, and UAE. So out of that group, you would think Sri Lanka is a certainty to get through, and Netherlands probably. In Group B, we've got Ireland, Scotland, West Indies, and Zimbabwe. Much more difficult for, and you would argue there, West Indies certainly would be the one to be favoured. Ireland or Zimbabwe, I would say. Ireland could well be the one because Ireland, actually, they played a game yesterday against Randwick Petersham Cricket Club down at Coogee, not far from where I went to that match. Randwick Petersham versus Ireland. And today, the SC, my team was supposed to play against Ireland, but it was washed out, so that didn't happen. Are we still in the first over? No, the first over's gone then. So yeah, Group A yet again, just for your early knowledge. Namibia, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, and UAE. So that's given Sri Lanka a bit of an easy run. So after 1 over, West Indies are none for 14. Josh Hazlewood's coming in from the other end. So again, Group A is Namibia, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, and UAE. Group B is Ireland, Scotland, Zimbabwe, and West Indies. So really, Sri Lanka and West Indies stand out those two groups, but you might see Netherlands and Ireland also sneak through to make the Super 12. Here we are. Johnson Charles only faced one ball. He got 3 of it. And he's bowled neck and crop by Hazlewood. Going for another barnyard shot there was Johnson Charles. Hazlewood just bowled line and length on the stumps, and he's taken the middle stump. But the attitude was certainly there. It was just a normal metronome delivery. Came in a little bit, and Johnson Charles was looking skyward there. I think his head lifted, and Hazlewood was taking the wicket first ball, as opposed to Mitchell Stark's first over, who went for 14. So a bit of a difference there between the two. So look, we're in World Cup mode now, guys. This is the first match in Australia where the World Cup will be held in a matter of days at Metricon Stadium, a rather low level, I should say, stadium on the Gold Coast of Queensland. Not a venue that you'd be expecting to use too much. And that is the first foray into Australia for World Cup contenders. Australia versus a team. Australia are in the Super 12 already. West Indies have to make the Super 12. But of course, West Indies will have a bit more difficulty. They're playing, as I said, Ireland, Scotland, and Zimbabwe, as opposed to Sri Lanka's easier draw, you might argue, of teams such as Namibia, Netherlands, and UAE that Sri Lanka play. But of course, Bangladesh has actually qualified. Afghanistan has qualified. So in Group 1, which is part of the Super 12, you've got Afghanistan, Australia, England, and New Zealand. So between Australia and England and New Zealand, one of those three have to actually not make the semis. And then winner of Group A, which will probably be Sri Lanka, and then runner-up of Group B, which will probably be Ireland. So who's in back now? Brandon King has come in. Single for first ball. So in the Group A, Group 1, which is a Super 12, assuming that Sri Lanka go through as the top of their group, and Ireland the second in their group, you'll see Afghanistan, Australia, England, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, and Ireland. Pretty tough because only two of those 6 teams will make it through. New Zealand and Sri Lanka, I would say, miss out with Afghanistan and Ireland. In Group 2, we have Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, South Africa. So you would argue we need Pakistan are more likely to be the ones to go through, with South Africa and Bangladesh missing out. And runner-up of Group A would be probably Netherlands, and winner of Group B, West Indies. So Group 2, you would argue, would see West Indies and South Africa miss out. So that's early sense. So Australia, England, India, Pakistan are my picks so far from that group. So 1 wicket down for 15. After 3 deliveries, Hazlewood's only gone for the 1 run and taken a wicket. So he's had a good metronome start. Ball came in ever so slightly. Is the match delayed? Which match? No, the match is on. It started. Australia have got West Indies 1 for 15 into the second over, and there's Kyle Mayers beautifully played through the mid-wicket region for another 4. He's gone to 13 in some hurry. 1 for 19 the West Indies score. So no, the game's not delayed. The game's actually started. It's on air. So we'll go through those a bit more later. But as I said, Group A and Group B are the qualifying groups, with 4 in each group, only 2 going through from each group. Namibia in Group A with Netherlands, Sri Lanka, and UAE. So again, Sri Lanka, Netherlands more likely to go through. He's played the same shot again, has Mayers, and he's got what looks like yet another 4. He's on the 17. So Hazelwood's now gone for 9. After Hazelwood started brilliantly with his first ball delivery to taking wickets. So Namibia, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, UAE, weaker group, Group A. Netherlands, Sri Lanka going through. Group B, Ireland, Scotland, West Indies, Zimbabwe, slightly more difficult. The West Indies would certainly be the more favoured one, and perhaps Ireland would follow. He's pulled the Wavesy out. He's dropped. Pinchel Stark has dropped a catch. Has dropped Mayers on the boundary. That's a bit of a poor effort. It's virtually straight to him. So the score is 1 for 24. So the second over's produced 10 runs. After the first over produced 14. And Josh Hazelwood put a shorter ball in, which basically expunged up. Mayers took it, and it's gone, what I would say, right down the throat of Stark. And Stark has dropped it. Yes, Stark looks awful. He's bowling. I would agree with that. What about Wiley? Yeah, he's also very good. Yeah, but he's not playing it, obviously. So after 2 overs, West Indies are 1 for 24. With Mayers on 18 off 9 balls, and King off only the one with Johnson Charles out first ball. So that's where we are at with that match. Having a look at the scenario there. So Cummins has come on for his first over. And it's gone off the inside edge of Charles's bat, but he's also sort of single. So first over Stark, second over Cummins. First over Stark, second over Hazelwood, third over Cummins. So Stark's been already yanked. I'll have to go for 14. So after some 20 odd minutes of play or thereabouts, a bit less than that, yeah, into the third over, Cummins coming on to bowl to Mayers, who's been looking and always bowling. Does he know what happened there? It seemed to come off the pad bat, I'm not sure. Mayers has certainly got his intentions clear. The Metricon Stadium has had an improved seating area. There's a so-called church street and river end. I'm not sure there's any rivers there or any churches, but that's another thing. Green should be in our squad. Of course, Sam is. Green will be. Green is playing 2 matches not to be. Don't forget, they can change the squad until October 15th. I think Stoinis' injury's gone, and Steve Smith's not going to be the main player, so I think you're going to see Cam Green play in all matches. All right, it's my mistake. I thought it'll be live on Sony here. I find it on Sony. Okay, so you found it. Okay, good. Watch that. Listen to the commentary here. That'd be good. Good of you. So Cummins is keeping Myers a little quieter. He's 19 off 11. 18 might be 19 off 11. It's 19 off 12, actually. So 1 for 25. So Brandon King, who's not that well known to me, I'm afraid. I'll have to wait to see how he goes. He's at face on 1 ball for 1 run. But Kyle Mayers has certainly shown his work. We've got Mayers, Charles, King, Puran is coming in at number 4. Powell at 5. Holder at 6, then Smith, Reefer, Joseph, Correa, and Cottrell. The bowlers have got a leg spinner that's coming on, and also I think a left arm pacer. We'll see how they go. 1 for 25. It's a pretty healthy start for the West Indies. Coming straight off a plane, they've been in the country for 24 hours. And of course, Hetmeyer has been dropped for basically not catching the plane, I think more than once it looks like. So he's been penalised for that. Which Hetmeyer's a great player, and I think they're going to miss him. And I think they may rue that dropping. But we'll wait and see how much they're going to rue that dropping. So King looks a little bit more conservative to start with. Okay. Hello, Suman Awashi. I'm glad you've joined us. Bit of an impromptu decision to have this broadcast, but I was umming and ahhing, but I've decided to do it. Of course, tomorrow, very strangely, India play South Africa in the first of 3 ODIs, which I'm a bit bewildered. I think West Indies would be better off being here, and they are playing us. Oh, hello, was that an edge? Yeah, it looks like we've got a big fat edge from King, and it's gone through to what looks like first slip. No first slip, of course, in place. Sumanawashi, you might be able to tell us more. What happened there? It looks like it's gone for 4 off. King's edged it through what this first slip. Yep, it's a pretty healthy edge. Would have probably edged straight down the throat of the first slip. Yeah, that would have been a nice, healthy catch to first slip. So West Indies now 1 for 29 after 3 overs, just to touch on 10 runs, with Mayers on 19. And now we've got Cam Green coming on the bowl. So we've had Sark, Hazelwood, Cummins, and then Cam Green. All 4 bowlers have been used the first 4 overs. Interesting. It's only Cam Green's 6th match, actually. Maybe 5th, we'll see. Oh, that was wide. In fact, he could let that go. It would have probably been a wide, but he connected with it and he get your runs. So West Indies are 1 for 29. Well, that was so way when he could let that go, and he would have got himself a wide for that. No, it has to be wide. That has to be wide. Is it called a wide? And there's giving himself from here certainly has been called a wide. 1 for 30. Brisk start here by the West Indies for sure. That was a woefully wide. Cam Green doesn't need to bowl that wide. So we would normally have had the gig on tonight, but I think now with the World Cup mode, we're going to put the gig to bed for a while and bring on World Cup action, which there'll be plenty. And that's even wider. That's the second wide. In fact, he's really bowled 3 wides. First ball, he got away with it because the batter actually connected it, and Mayer's actually connected. Way too wide for Green. Way too wide. That's way too wide. No, well, it's deemed to be wide. That's so big. Yeah, that was definitely wide. That was actually wider. And Cam Green probably coming a bit too early bowling. Well, that was a much better ball, much better length. That ball had the right, and the first one with it. 133, 132. So he's bowling about 130 clicks. He normally bowls faster than that. So Cam Green likely to open with Warner, and you'll have Mitch Marsh at 3. That's looking like a pretty good lineup to me. Oh, there's an amazing shot from Mayers. It's gone for a 6, well over cover. He's just picked it up and clipped it over what is basically extra cover for 6 and cleared it by a country mile. So 1 for 37. With Mayers on 25. Well, beautifully placed. Really beautifully caressed it with great power. Well over. Cleared it by 10 rows. Brilliant shot. Canberra hasn't been that good. It was a lovely shot. He got a hold of that big time. There's plenty of room out there. Virtually on the second tier. So Giuseppe's saying he's in Reba currently and about to go and have a game of soccer. So why did you okay, so wow, what an amazing shot for a six. There's nothing much to my eyes. It's quite a good shot. So he's hit the ball into the gap again, has Mares. It's only a single, one for 38. Mares on 26 now of 17. So the Kangaroos gone around a little bit. That was a hit of 105 metres, that shot over cover. What a shot. Now I'm curious, without Chris Gale, it's a bit, not quite the same as this. Yes, he's looking the goods now. Well over 9 and over here. Oh, here we go again. Mosen Sheikh, he's not here. He's at the moment training with the Afghanistan sides earlier. He might come in a bit later in the set procession. We'll wait and see. Kyle Mayers. He's got a double century. I think he's no better at the moment. He's one of the leading batters, you would argue. So Mosen Sheikh. So Zampa's come on. So effectively, the first 5 overs are sent all 5 bowlers bowl with Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, Green. Now Zampa. Mosen Sheikh is. It'd be awesome, Queensland. So 1 for 39 into the 5th over now. With Zampa bowling his leg spin. Well, there you go. Brandon King's decided to take toll of him. He's gone for a big 6. And this is where the West Indies are unpredictable. We just don't quite know what they're capable of. On their day, they can be as aggressive. They'll come out of the CPL, so they're probably in form a little bit. They didn't need too much more. They just come off the plane straight into the game. I guess mentally that's probably the clearest way they can be. Dan Smith, King, there's ball bro. There's nobody down there. So 1 for 45 off into the 5th over. So they're well over 9 and over. That's pretty impressive. King 11, Mares 27, 145. Just trying to use every bowler in their first 5. Let's see who's going to get a second over now. Now he moved to the leg side, offside I should say, and yorked himself. He's well bowled. If Australia winning the T20 World Cup, they need to bat well. Yeah, they need to, because their bowling's not quite as good as they think. An element of predictability about their bowling, actually. I have to say. We're going for 9+ and over at Western Indies, right? Here we have it. One ball to go in this 5th over. We'll see what Kyle Mayers does. He might tee off. He's gone for the, looks like a single. So 47 after 5 overs. Well over 9 and over, not quite 10. Certainly pretty impressive. Indeed. We'll come back to the World Cup team squads and also make up the scheduling starting the 16th of October, which is only 11 days away, with the first match, I think it's Sri Lanka versus Namibia down in Geelong. And that's, again, a qualifier match. Then we have the crescendo being the final on November 13th. So just under a month to play, 4 weeks to play. But that's from qualifier right through. Kyle Mayers has just taken to Hazelwood. So the second over is first to be bowled by Hazelwood, not Stark. Kyle Mayers is 29-21. He's done quite admirably here. Very first without. Not forgetting, none of these players have had more than 24 hours off the plane, so their schedule has been, they'll be still in the form of jet lag going on coming to this game. That's a little bit late, I would argue. But then India is still playing 3 ODIs in India with South Africa. Oh, that looked out. That looked out. He looked out, yeah. That does look out. King's gone for 12. Hazelwood strikes yet again. His first ball of his first over, the second ball of his second over. Is he going to go up to review it? Doesn't look like it. In fact, no, he's not. Arm move, but looks like King's going. Western is now 2 for 48 after 5.2 overs. Hazelwood taking the second wicket. Leon Hazelwood, not noted for being a T20 bowler, has had sufficient IPL experience now, coupled with the Australian experience, to be able to be seen as the leading bowler. So Brandon King, LBW, Hazelwood for 12 off 9 deliveries. Be interesting to see how Australia fare with the batting department. Cam Green and Mitch Marsh up high in the order will be aggressive in ball 1. Warner there as well. I'm pretty much sure Finch will come in at 4, depending on the makeup. Maxwell, and then you'll have Tim David as your top 6. And then you've got Wade at 7. Then you've got the 4 bowlers. Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, and Zampa. Looks like a formidable team. I think the only player that, well, Steve Smith's there, but he's not in the team. And whether Stoinis comes back or not is another thing. And I don't think he will see Stoinis. I think his injury is not. I think you'll see him go out and Cam Green come in. I mean, we wouldn't be playing Cam Green as much as he was in the squad, put it that way. Oh, that kept low. Mayer's got away with that and got a single. He's on 30 now off 22. Reef has come in now. I don't think he was targeted to come in at this stage. He is a bowler predominantly, a left-arm bowler apparently. He's gone ahead and put him. So Debash Wine Norman. Our crowds very bad. That shows Australian public not interested in white ball cricket and they care about Test cricket. Well, it isn't. It's a nothing match. Let's be honest. Yeah, the crowd looks poor. Yes, you are. Well, that's a shot from Mayers there. That was right got that single to people. So that was a lovely shot from Mayers. He's been on the 33 there. Beautifully, he's played square of the wicket there through the point region to 4. Actually, our early discussions about the World Cup ticketing has been not as good as we expected. There are not as many international travellers as we're expecting. We might have more available tickets even for the India Pakistan match. And what I've heard that I might have 100 tickets up my sleeve when I watch it. Be very interesting to see though. She sold that thing. Okay. So Norman Stark likes match practice. He does. And why are there no crowds? Oh, it's a guest game, not important. Ashwin, Kartik, Australia Parliament don't care about white ball. Oh yeah, they do care about white ball. It's just this match is problem. What about our new future Test cricketer? Yeah, he certainly looks good. That young bloke we saw today scored 100 for Western Australia, correct? Very little discussion about this whole match actually. Yeah, well, again, Lyon importantly. What against Lyon importantly? Yes, he did pick the runs against Lyon, Nathan Lyon. So it was a very good test. He quite good. He drove beautiful, a lot of on drives. Very good driving. So Reefer coming in before pouring. I think he's a bowler, so interesting. Now we've got Maxwell coming on to bowl the 7th over. So Hazel was the only one that's bowled 2 overs. I think it looks quite okay bat. Interesting how Australia using Zampa and Maxwell on a pitch, I guess, where it is meant to be tennis ball type bounce. I don't get it. Crowds not allowed. Well, no, they are allowed, Ashwin Kartik. It's actually free. Ticketing is free. So we are dropping it down to about 8, 9 and over now. There's a 255 into the 7th over. So it's still about 8 and over. So Mosen Sheikh is with Afghanistan. The gig boys were meant to come on. One of them is in Mariba. I'm not sure what he's doing. There's a very solid 34 so far. Seems like Australia's very relaxed about this. So Campbell Kellaway, I know very little about him, so when you're talking to someone who doesn't know much about him, much more understate quicker than I am. So they're spreading the field out. The so-called power play must be over. Reefer there, I'm not aware of his batting before. It looks quite solid. Yeah, there is no one there. And there's a designated T20 international. There's no tickets. There's no cost for tickets, I should say. There is the ability to enter the ground, but Gold Coast, more into their AFL than cricket, obviously. So after 7 overs, Western needs a 256. So exactly 8 and over. They dropped a little bit off the pace, but 8 and over is still pretty sound at this early stage. AFL killing cricket, well, a little bit. The ground, I'm surprised they're even ready. They had so much AFL of late, and rugby league's just finished last weekend. Probably a little bit soon, but anyway, they're playing. It's World Cup preparation. But then India are playing South Africa, 3 ODIs starting tomorrow. Really have to wonder about that. Both South Africa and India will be somewhat disadvantaged not being here physically for the prep as early as they'd like to be, but then the West Indies only gave themselves 24 hours. So tickets at T20worldcup.com will come to normal. I've got some tickets coming my way, I believe. So we've got, it seems to just, Zamp is a very steady bowler. Zamp and Maxwell taking on the mantle. Starks only bowled the one over. Cummins only one over. We might actually see a lot less from those two. Sort of Ryan. Yeah, well, this is a sporting nation, you're right. But Green, Orne, and Marsh is dangerous. Yeah, certainly they'll be. Will be dangerous. Yes, I agree with that. So West Indies 257 into the 8th over, roughly averaging 8 and over. It's a beautiful shot. There's a person deep there at cover. Yes, looks quite fluent in his shot making. Yeah, I totally agree. Arath is best. There's no need for ODI maxes at the moment. Totally nonsensical, I'm sorry, especially playing 3 this close. Bit of a waste. It looks like both Zampa and Maxwell curved the run rate somewhat. Now we'll probably start to hit out, I think, sometime this over. He's very much bowling a leg stump attack. So you guys getting this live? And there is live coverage. This should be. It should be live coverage. Yep, looks an overthrow there. No, there's not. So 2 for 60. Two for 60. It's just form below 8 now, actually. It's spun a fair bit. So 2 for 60 below 8. So they've formed below 8 runs and over now, where they're up around almost 10. So it's all right. So Arath says, I watch one-day cricket nowadays because of AR. Because of what? Andre Russell? Or because who's AR? Who's AR? I don't know who you're talking about. It's too hot in here. It's too hot. Maxwell back on. It's a short ball and got what it deserved, but is there a person down there? There is. We might just pick up a single there. It's on 37 now, 32. Sri Lanka can beat any team. Well, they're going to have to beat sides to get through their qualifier first. Okay, that's the first thing. They got a slightly easier group. West Indies got a slightly more difficult. West Indies got the likes of Scotland, Ireland, and Zimbabwe, whereas Sri Lanka's got the UAE, Netherlands, I think they've got, and they've got, come on the fourth side, it's Namibia. So yeah, I don't think there's much worry for Sri Lanka. They should get through. Oops, what happened there? Maxwell and Zampa have certainly put the brakes on anything so far. 2 for 63 into the 9th over. No, the ball's nowhere near where that shot was played. He played a traditional sweep shot and he did it.
He's in the game there, Matthew Wade. I think just to go back on your point about the way the West Indies.
Nicholas Prawn hasn't batted yet. I mean, Headline's not there as well. Jason Holder can hit. All rounders like Cameron. Okay. There's Australia's lucky independent T20I experts. Yeah, I think that Stark's past his best. So AR's all right. I'm not thinking that's the word about it. There's a lot of hit and miss going on here. 2 for 66 off 9 overs. So they're dropping, they're still above 7. You know, they're a bit of a finish coming up, I think. And Johnson Charles opened the gate up there and allowed Hazelwood right through. He's taken 2 wickets accordingly, and LBW was certainly looked out. Stump the stump is what Hazelwood bowling. I have to agree with that.
Spend one pace, the West Indies. Started off to a little fly, but
Tropical Queensland.
the gaps, run the ones and twos, but at the moment they're just getting bogged down a little.
Cummins gets his chance. Stark has been completely left out of the bowling attack so far. Oh, I'm afraid Mayers has gone a little bit too wayward there and was bowled neck and crop by Cummins for 39. West Indies 3 for 66. Into the 10th over. That's probably going to be them doing them. When Aaron Hay will be in contention for Australia, well, not quite yet. Conscious human Hazel is on the best T20 bowls. Yeah, he's become one. He has become one. So this bowling stump to stump. There's 39. Good effort. 5 fours and a 6. Now, Nicholas Prawn should be coming in now, you'd hope. Yeah, it was just a bit barnyard, that shot, to say the least.
He's opened the front side of his body, exposed his stumps. Can't do that. Get fast this Australian bowling attack. Looks look like, though, just one pace.
My son Chris will be here soon with some food.
But that from Paddy Cummins. You can't give him a look at all the stumps.
Oh, it's just a dirty great mo, isn't it? Yeah, no other word to describe it. Looks good when you hit it. When you don't hit it, looks awfully bad. So, I mean, the West Indies, I like their...
So West Indies now 3 for 66 into the 10th over now. Usually go on the first delivery. They had two wickets on first ball and one the second ball of an over. So maybe a bit of a get in and hit. Cummins is quite solid. Hazelwood, Stark's languishing. Nicholas Prawn, this is his making. If he's going to captain this West Indies side, to prove his wares now, won't he? West Indies are a qualifying team now. They're not on the main squad. Yeah, not anything they're too excited about, unfortunately.
It feels like a bit of a numbers game. Like, he can bowl that same delivery and it could go over cover for 6. It's just, it's a numbers game for the West Indians. And it's all about the batsmen and the way that...
So 3 for 66 on the 10th over now, with Prawn facing second ball reefer 7 for 8, off 8. And the Prawn's got himself, he's tucked around at the back for a single. Yeah, again, a lot of these players, some 6 or 7 have come off the Caribbean Premier League. So they've had a bit of form to go by.
best batsmanship in the team. Just look
Yeah,
there.
that was way better. It was just lifting his head then did Mayers, but he got 39, he did okay.
Now they pull their length back. They're using their slower ball.
West Indies batting line looks particularly weak,
West Indies and
to be honest,
adapted after the 5-0.
without Hetmeyer. Waiting on his replacement.
Change up there.
That was a fair clip that delivery. Metricon Stadium, not a stadium you will hear of in the World Cup, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Josh Hazel's got a certain spot that he definitely lands the ball.
This one just caught on the crease, probably not quite watching the ball close enough, and then this is pretty similar to the
Same zone for both bowlers, just short of the length.
and come up with thin air. So good tight bowling, hitting the deck hard. These tall Australians are just getting a little bit of uneven bounce out of the pitch.
He edged it, but that's not an issue.
They've adjusted well.
More like a T-tail, isn't it? It's pretty big hand.
They're 3 for 68 into the 10th over, one more ball left. And they're falling below 7 at the moment. Conscious human. The issue with Josh is if he goes for runs in his early overs, then it becomes a hiding game. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Short and full, but Hazel and Cummins, if there's two guys to hit the T-tail or the hanky, they're the two guys to do it. Spot on.
Cummins is bowling well. After 10 overs, there's a run rate of 6.8, which, having been close to 10, has certainly dropped off. Stark may well see himself bowl less overs, I think.
Just the length.
Yeah.
36 so far for the West Indies. Didn't need that.
They've adapted well, the Aussies. They got their length full up. They made the West Indies batsmen after the onslaught make decisions.
So again, the World Cup. So Saman Hawashi leaves the West Indies team struggle to rotate strike, which is very important in Australia, given the big rounds. Just look how they have got breaks after. Yeah, I agree. They hit big before that. Saman Hawashi, that's a very good summation. So Stark's eventually come back on, and he bowled the first over. Now he's bowling the 11th over, having gone for 14 of his first over. Pity that Mayers isn't there. He liked him in the first go. Reef is very solid without being too spectacular. Wade certainly has been preferred as the keeper here. But I think this is the 11. I don't think Stoinis will come back after injury. And I don't think that Smith is going to be in the 11. And David and Green will both be in that. And Green will come in from Stoinis. Even injury-based or form-based. Yet to see Mitch Marsh. We'll see how he goes too. Wide. Shocking. Too many wides here from start. Come in. Open the door, Chris. Door's open. Come in. How are you? I'm actually live. You can tell Oh my god, they're saying I'm missing a driving record. It's not me.
Driving record.
So we're looking at watching. You're going to get some plates?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. What do you got here? Yeah.
You want it on the plate?
something meeting a. What is it, a spring roll, Crystal?
Huh?
A spring roll, is it?
Spring roll. Yeah.
What's a big hit there?
You like it?
Yeah, very nice.
Huh?
Very nice. Stark's bowling a series of wides here. It's terrible. Wow.
I just died a bit. And Matthew Way, he's got the shorter ball. Get up, stay waist high, set short enough to get under the arm.
Hmm.
So I think you look at the pitch, there are some bare patches and some grassy patches on the surface.
West Indies are 3 for 74 in the 11th over. Now they make spring rolls, though.
They're spring rolls.
Come, oh, oh my God! Look at me! I'm getting cute. Feel like a king here.
This is your other food.
Trying to get. It's not all for me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but do you want to, like...
No. What about you?
Yeah, but yeah, I know, that's for both of us.
Okay.
But what do you, like, you have something like...
We'll just get spoon. We'll take it. All right. Oh, this Stark's appealing.
It's this place.
Daylight's Vietnamese. Okay. Where was it? Where was that mascot? No, in Randwick. Okay. Have you been there before?
No. But they're very highly rated.
Okay.
So what do you want? Choose your utensil.
A spoon. I don't want that. Just not
You
get
want
it.
me to see me use this?
No.
Use this.
You can use it. Christopher's just come back from his birthday, guys.
You don't want a fork?
No. So the DRS decision. We'll see if Mitchell Stark has taken a wicket here. No. No.
Yeah, roll that through, please. Yeah, thank you.
You can hold that. We can.
Yeah, kind of side on spot, please. Thank you. Yeah, certainly hit the back.
So DRS looks like he's not out to me.
First there, please. Can I have RTS, please? RTS. Thank you.
Why are you not worried about Stark's form? Our best.
Yeah, thank you. Roll
I would be.
Yeah, pad first. Satisfied pad first. Can we move to
Make sure you
I think
satisfy
Christopher had
that.
a 26th birthday.
I'm older than you then.
Oh, you old? I'm old.
Just
What?
turned 21 the other day.
Pad first, see that?
Come sit down. Come.
Yeah.
Mitchell Stark looks like he's got a wicket. I don't know how. No, West Indies are 4 for 75 now. It is good food.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I didn't think he was out.
So you did the World Cup?
It's a match before the World Cup. 2 games against the West Indies up in Metricon Stadium on the Gold Coast. There's no one there.
No.
Looks like it'd be three.
Not a competitive match.
No,
Warm up. No,
It is. It is, but still, it's Australia playing. Praveen Ivan says, yes, Stark Tolbola needs to be in the same. Stark picks up wickets. Well, he did in this case. You got Nicholas Poor, which is very sad.
But you did the T20 thing on the weekend.
Huh?
World Cup thing on the weekend.
Yep.
How was that? You met the Premier and everything?
Yeah. We're supposed to be playing cricket today against Ireland, SCG 11, but they didn't. It rained.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ryan McPeterson played Ireland.
It's going to be raining. Oh, okay. You want some of this?
No, it's all.
You get it. But it's going to be a bad season here.
Oh.
It's raining non-stop.
West Indies are starting to fall in a bit of the heat. They're 4 for 75 now after a very promising start. These are really nice.
They should learn to play when it's raining.
Yeah, exactly. It's not raining on the Gold Coast. Was it raining when you were up there?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's bacon sodas.
Isn't that what's in spring roll?
Yeah. It was nice. Normally they're vegetarian.
This is, I guess, yeah.
Well, this.
No, eat it.
So, man, how was the? Yeah, that was unusual how Mitchell Stark took his wicket. Didn't look like this in the stumps at all.
He's a bit rusty.
Yeah. The West Indies have literally come off a plane straight into the game.
A bit jet lagged.
Yeah, Stark can't even let her go because it looked dead set leg side to me. And the ball hit his bat in the end, which is even more amazing. It hit his foot first, then his bat. His bat would have stopped him hitting the stumps, but he's given out. That doesn't seem right. So, Norman, will you be going to Perth? Indian said, yes, I will be. But probably more when the games have started. We'll get practice videos, all right. But India are not going to Australia. They're going to play. They played 3 ODIs, 50 over format now. They should be here playing T20. It's bizarre.
Must be going where the money is.
Maybe.
Get paid more.
India playing South Africa in 3 ODIs in India when they should be here getting ready for the World Cup. Well, all right, this was ridiculous how there's the hitting middle of leg stump there. That hit his pad, but the bat was directly behind the pad. So even though it hit the pad, the bat would have stopped it. I don't get that. So my sister has laid charges against Robert.
And so he's arrested.
Yeah.
So he's in what? He's in a cell right now.
I'm not sure. I don't know how that's turning out.
We're going to bail him out?
That was 9-10 months ago. How could you? I mean, I'm sorry. What's going on there?
But how does that work? You just say, just call the police up and say, he assaulted me, and they're going to arrest him.
Yeah, back in December last year. And
do they seriously take that?
And because she witnessed his son getting hit. And he thinks she's putting his son up on charges. What sort of person does that?
He's going to need a lawyer. Maybe he can get a bond injunction lawyer.
If she used him, and then I can't believe it. What did I say? She's capable of doing that. What else did she have on? What else did she have?
Next she'll say, after he punched her son, I gave him a high five. Make some more bullshit up.
Well, she probably will talk in terms of that's why she couldn't come to his almost funeral. That's what she's saying. All right. Well, that's just absolute rubbish. She jumped the day after, so when Robert was here.
But did Robert admit to doing it, or was it?
No, I don't know. Steve Smith there on the side. But she's now 4 for 80 off 12. So they're well under 7 and over now. It's starting to become a bit low. Robin Power can actually bat. Right, guys, no comments. You're not making any comments.
How many viewers?
Not many. Richard Stark's bowled pretty poorly. Got a wicket to them, but I don't know how he got it.
It's probably just because the other team are worse than he is playing.
Oops. Reef is still there. He's on 16. He's actually a bowler who's batting quite high up. I'm wondering whether he's seen to be as a little rounder. No Chris Gale. No Andre Russell. No Hetmar. Hetmar was dropped because he missed who he's playing. Amazing. Brett Haddon also said that in Australia you don't need Smith. You don't need Steve Smith. His batting is no longer that good. The short format. This West Indies batting lineup is pretty weak, to be honest. Kyle Mayers looked pretty good. Yeah.
Too much liquid.
Yeah. All right. Conscious here, what are you saying? Stark is way too predictable in the end overs with his full deliveries and would be expensive against the batters who play ramp shots, scoops and pickup shots. I agree. It's going straight in the air there. Rifle's hit it. And look, oh, he's been dropped. This is the second drop catch for the night. Stark's dropped a catch. And now Dave Warner's dropped a catch. Pretty rusty.
Did you see that?
What?
Half of the stadium's full, half of it's empty.
Yeah. Full for 85. This is Stark bowling with a bit of venom. Albeit a little bit late. It was an awful attempt to catch by Warner. Absolutely awful. How could you take your own son on assault charges? How could you try and put one of your sons in asylum? What sort of person is that? Huh? Sorry. Assault charges. She just loves court, loves battles. It's just terrible. Talking about something that you guys shouldn't do. 4 for 86 off 13 overs, so we're looking at not even 6, well, just over 6 and over, not even 7 and over.
What if she's a big fan of your channel?
Who?
What if she's a big fan?
I hope she is. Hope she hears every word of it. Hope she hears. No problems. I'm happy for her to hear every word of it. because it's true. No lies here. I regret giving her anything from the house. I gave the right things at night. You know? What did I do that for?
She was ungrateful as well.
What did I do that for? You hungry? Roving Power come back. We haven't seen him quite go yet. Reef has got 18, quite admirably. It was a lot faster there from Zampa. No boundaries being scored for 46 balls. That says everything. Yeah, Aussie will use him in middle overs. I think he may be right. So Smith could be useful on only a screen picture there. I can't see. Smith doesn't want a position. Stoinis doesn't either now. Aaron Finch will probably retire after this T20 World Cup, I would say, on a high, hopefully, because he's won 2 World Cups in a row if he wins. Pretty big effort.
We'll have a nice Vaucluse mansion to retire.
Probably. Over with Smith and the rest of them.
Wait.
He's from Melbourne, so. Rovman Powell, he looks like a big, look at him. He looks Viv Richards like in his size and shape. A bit of a stomach there, but he's a big boy.
Must have a big swing.
Rovman Powell certainly hasn't quite launched yet, but I think he will be launching in the next over or so.
Set of hands, Mitchell Stark. This time off his bowling. David Warner made good ground.
Dave Warner dropped the catch, Starks dropped the catch. Pretty bloody ordinary, really. And if, again, you can argue they're rusty. Well, maybe you could say that, but I don't know whether it's necessarily. 4 for 88 after 14. I know it's falling away really badly. Probably. If I'm high, Norman, during World Cup, will you travel also this year? I certainly will. That's one thing we're going to be doing. Going to Melbourne for the India versus Pakistan match, and going back to Sydney watching a match here, then to Perth, Adelaide, and Melbourne. So yeah, that's all happening, guys. Another ball up in the air. Waves on his gloves, you think he's taken it. Yes, he has. Powell's gone for 6. Pretty unimpressive, I'm afraid.
West Indies going to have a quick flight home.
Well, they've only just, the thing is, they've only arrived 24 hours ago, so I feel sorry for them. You certainly can't see that as being typical. Raymond Reef, actually, it wasn't Ruben Powell. So Reef is number 87. It's the devil's number for us in Australia, that's for sure. He go to the fairway. Watch the end of the Western Indies as well. I cleaned up around the house a bit. I got the washing release organised now. I got a bit more time on my hands. I'm not running around doing other stuff. Jason Holder's finally come in. He's only played 45 T20 international. I thought he would have played more. And Jason Holder's only 30. He's been around forever. But he can hit the ball. He and Rovman Powell have got a job to do now in the last 5 or 6 overs. West Indies have fallen for 5 for 88. Doing well. Green Stokes. Green Stokes. What? Yeah, Green Stokes. Oh, hello. I think we've lost Powell. Green. Oh, that's close. 2 noises. So that means there's been a bat there. Green strikes here. Greeny strikes him in. Well, they're going upstairs. So you're saying that Arath is best as must be on watching something earlier than I am, because at the moment we haven't heard the decision. Then it would be a good replacement for Finch to retire. Yes, I think so.
So who do you think is the best up-and-coming Australian player?
Well, Cam Green, the one that's bowling now.
Greeny?
Yeah.
He looks very young.
He is
22 or something.
Yeah, that looks like it's not out, but we can see. Well, Travis Head, I don't think Travis Head's going to be in the side. Josh Philippe, maybe. Ben McDermott should be the first shot. Now, that looks like it's down the leg side, you would think. It's pitched in line. Impact outside. Outside looks like it's inside to me. Oh, impact outside, so it's missing the stumps. So, Arrows has basically got it wrong. Not it. There's a bit of bounce there. Devendra Singh Gurjar, how are you? 5 for 88. It's a very tired looking scoreboard now.
How many overs left?
After a good start. The ball's way too short. Oh, certainly bounced up. So you'll find Devendra Singh Gurjar, lad. 5 for 88 in the 15th over. Well, hello. Holder's got a hold of that. Well, that's gone for 6. Jason Holder showing he's a brute of a guy, so yes, he should have a 6. These two can go. You get a cold.
A little bit, yeah.
Haven't got COVID, have you? Have you had COVID?
Yeah, many times.
What do you mean many times?
A couple of times, yeah. I've had.
You've been tested and you had COVID more than once.
Yeah. How about you?
You know because you saw me January the 1st.
Yeah. Like multiple times? Did you
No,
have to
I
get it?
don't think so.
Well, it was always the second time.
Oh,
Today's the
it's
day.
just the flu. Oh, you're going to give it to me? Is that what
Okay.
There's no one there. Jesus. What was that for a shot? Jason Holder used to be captain of the West Indies. Now he's not.
Ooh, got demoted.
And I think he should be, personally. Because probably Hetmeyer, what a loss that they dropped him because he missed the plane. Is that the right decision? What do you think, guys? Dropping Hetmeyer because he missed his plane twice? I don't think that's a good enough reason to make that bit poor in terms of his tardiness.
The girl he was with must have been worth it.
The girl he's with must have been worth it. Well, and maybe that's what it was. If it was that, well, then fair enough. But I mean, look, he's an incredibly good player, and they could well need him here. But well, they've called the shots.
Who's captain now?
Nicholas Poran is not Jason Holder, which is
And he's less experience?
sorry.
Less experience?
Yeah, a little bit. After Charlie, which team you're supporting or want to win the T20I World Cup? Devendra Singh Gurjar. I mean,
You want to get India to win, yeah?
of course, I want India to do very well. Oh, and then I mean, Pakistan.
Maybe Sri Lanka? But they're probably
No, I'm not really sure. I actually think it'll be Australia, India, Pakistan, and England will make the 4.
What about New Zealand?
New Zealand. They have to be in their group, they've got Australia and England, and like, they have to beat both those ties just to get through to the semi-finals. So that's unlikely. One of Australia, England, and New Zealand will not make the semi-finals. So you would argue that will be probably New Zealand won't make the semi-finals. England certainly will. Australia certainly will. And on the other side, India and Pakistan are more likely to win, with South Africa being a threat. So 5 for 95 for 15. So what's that? 30, 60, 90. I only got six, a bit over 6 and over. Well, that's more like it. That's a holder special. He's got to hit a nice big 6. Massive brute of a guy. He's been around for a long time. He was at the 2015 World Cup, which is, 7 years ago. And he was 23 and he was the captain of the West Indies at that time, I remember.
Have they ever won World Cup?
Oh, yes. They won the first 2, 75 and 79. And I think have they won it since? Well, this T20, they won it more recently than that, but the ODIs, they won it 75. Oh, hello. Played the shame shot again to a better ball, and he's a big bowl. A bit barnyard-like. Some wayward shots they've got out to. His West Indies won the ODI, first 50 over World Cups, 75 and 79. They won the T20 World Cup not that long ago. Carlos Braithwaite. Remember, there was a very famous saying, remember the name, remember the name. That was when they won.
So maybe they're better at a slow game than a fast game.
Oh, they like the fast games, don't they? What year was that, guys? Tell me the year that West Indies won the T20 World Cup. Someone look that up for me and tell me when the T20 World Cup was won by the West Indies. Okay, I'm just looking at the T20 World Cup winners. So West Indies 601. They're only got a run rate of about 6. They'd be lucky to make, for God's sake, 120 or 30. Dean Smith, he can hit the ball. Okay, let's have a look.
Smith, new batsman for the West Indies. Very handy with the ball.
Okay, so I'm now looking up the winners. Results, okay. So 2007, India won in South Africa. 2009, Pakistan won in Lords. 2010, England won in West Indies, sorry. Then in 2012, West Indies won in Sri Lanka. World Cup, that is. And so that means in the first 4 World Cups, India, Pakistan, England, and West Indies won, no Australia. And then in 14, Sri Lanka won the World Cup. And then 16, yet again, West Indies won the World Cup. And only in 2021 did Australia win the World Cup for the first time. So effectively, West Indies have been the only team to win 2 World Cups in T20 format. So India, Pakistan, England, West Indies, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Australia. So effectively, West Indies have won the most World Cups in T20 format. And Australia's only just won the once, which was last year. I didn't really note that. So, first T20 World Cup was 2007, 15 years ago. It was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times it's been played in the last 15 years. Now, 8 times in the last 15 years. India, Pakistan, England, West Indies, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Australia. So, only West Indies have won twice, as I said. Dean Smith is not playing for. You love the 2015 World Cup, yes? In which department do you think Australia will win? The bowling department, I think, they're a bit weaker. Batting, if everybody fires, they're doing okay. We don't know how. We've got to wait and see how they fire. I think all around Australia are not quite up there, but they won last year. Having said the same thing, they got beaten by the West Indies and Bangladesh leading into last year's World Cup, and they still won. So it's at home. The chances are still up there. But England, India, Pakistan, I think, are the threats. I don't think West Indies will win up in Sri Lanka, even though they played very well in the Asian Cup. On the Australian wickets, they won't perform as well. This last year was extremely excruciatingly slow. So as I said, 2007, India beat Pakistan. 9, Pakistan beat Sri Lanka. 10, England beat Australia. 12, West Indies beat Sri Lanka. 14, Sri Lanka beat India. 16, West Indies beat England. And of course, 21, Australia beat New Zealand.
But didn't you say the 70s?
No, that was in the 50. Oh my God. Is that what I was talking? In the 50 over format. This is T20 format. In the 50 over format, West Indies won the first two, 75 and 79. But they tend to like the shorter format. Don't they, guys? It's funny, I'm talking to you, Christopher, off air, but you're not on there. This pitch is definitely spongy.
Where are you streaming it from?
Huh?
Where are you streaming it from? Foxtel?
That's live at Foxtel. Streaming it live on StreamYard.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the live. That's live Foxtel. So Hazel's come back on. He's been bowling well. What did he take him 2 wickets? He's got 2 overs left. So he'll bowl the 17th and 19th over, probably. Well, Odin Smith the ball well. So conscious human saying, well, I believe the West Indies board did the right thing. Surely they have a lot of disciplinary issues and secondary treatment when it comes to playing national side. Well, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't be missing flights, should you? If you miss it once, who will open it for Australia's batting? It'll be probably Cameron Green and Dave Warner. That's what they're earmarking. I think she'll bat at 4. Up in the air again. And Hazel's taken his 3rd wicket and will probably get the bowling honours this match so far. 706 is turning out to be a very disappointing West Indies total. They may not even reach the 20 overs the way they're going. No, that was an awful shot. It was only going to go 1 spot and that was up.
Yeah.
As in Rodman Powell, 7 off 13, not great. Odin Smith, the bowlers were now. Yeah, and Hazel was taking 3 for 7 and it's proving to be quite a winner in this format. Can India win the T20 World Cup this year in Australia? Absolutely. Vishwendra. Of course they can. That is a call, it's not. Or you're partying in the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So Alzari Joseph's coming in. Then he played a handful of games, some 6. He's not a great batter, what I can remember. He's tall enough, though. He's got that away, but not too well. Should have run 2, and they've taken their time. Oh, has he made it? Looks like he's in. Well, Australia should be difficult to beat at their home ground. They won the previous World Cup, but I don't think they're going to have it all their way.
Ooh, let's see.
No, he made it easily.
Yeah. The risky one.
Look worse.
Yes, they can go hard in those first 6 overs, but have a look at how they play the middle overs. Still attack, running hard between wickets, picking your 2s off, rotating the strike.
I've got 33,000 now.
Very nice.
You know, they just thought they keep going at that pace, but you can't keep
Aussie will win the series. Yeah, Akash Hawk, yes, you're right. I'm pretty sure they will win the series. 2-0. I can't see Western's having a hope. But they're not even qualified yet, so it's hard to get excited about them. And they've got a very ordinary side.
Mm.
They looked out. Oh.
When you get to 50,000,
Huh?
have a meet and greet.
What?
When you get to 50,000.
Well, you get something if you get to 100,000 with YouTube. They'll give you something.
You get a little play card, a little play thing. But you should do a meet and greet with your fans.
Well, I've got to get to India, don't I? Which will be next year. So Vishwendra Singh Chauhan thinks that I think in Australia, India, South Africa will dominate everyone. I don't think South Africa are going to be as good as you think. They're going to beat India and Pakistan. And I think India and Pakistan are the two teams will get through that semi-final. Johnson Charles bowl neck and crop. When Brendan King LBWE. And then alley up from Kyle Mayers got bowled. And then Nicholas Point basically got hit in the pad, but the bat was right behind it. Should have been out in my opinion. But it was just over with shocked. And then off green, he went skyward. He was out. This is where he plays. Too easy. And then Cummins just bowls, hold the neck and crop. And then again, up alley-oop into the air, goes Howell off Hazelwood. Bloody ordinary. But look, in their defence, they've just come off a plane 24 hours earlier. You can't go all the way from the West Indies, some 35 hours flying, and then be recovered in 24 hours. It's almost impossible. Well, that was a shot. Jesus. Azari Joseph's hit this out of the park there. That was a fair whack. He just followed through. There's no one there. I'm a bit shocked there's no one there. Really, this is Australia playing an international match, even though it's not the World Cup. On the Gold Coast are not going to get many other games, if any. So look, we'll watch the end of this innings, guys, and then we'll finish the broadcast. So listen. He looks like a big lump of a lad, doesn't he?
Mm.
More tall, at least. I think he's going to go for it again. He did. Didn't get a hold of it, though, but got at least one. Who was Lewis Cameron, isn't he a commentator / journalist? An Indian, I wish the year, well, 20 between India and Australia. Well, let's see. It could well be. It's becoming agonisingly slow the last few overs. There's absolutely no one there. This is Australia playing. I'm pretty disappointed. Oh, he's got over the top there. It's 4. So 2 of the bowlers, Odean Smith and Alzari Burson. Heading out, that didn't quite go where he meant to go, but it's still at 4.
traffic enough for Alzari, Joseph, and Alone Smith.
7 for 120.
I think they're on one side of the
There's
stadium.
a little out. I was going. Strange. He's got it. He's got it again. Is he going to be caught? Oh no.
Well,
He'd have to argue it's the third drop catch. Zampa dropped a catch. Stark dropped a catch. Warner dropped a catch. That was catchable.
did it bounce?
We'll soon find out. I think it reached him. Yeah, it's reached him. It's reached him. It's reached him, and he's dropped it. He's dropped it. Third catch dropped. England's a bigger threat to Australia, India. Okay, it might well be. And India bowling has to behave well, I guess. Yeah. It's wide, okay. Stark's bowled a whole heap of wides, which is pretty ordinary.
But he's a bit rusty, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not. You can be rusty, but you're playing for Australia. You should be.
Do they practice all through winter?
Well, you would think so. It's we're getting paid millions. All right? It's not like they're getting paid nothing.
Yeah.
Now, I find it very hard to comprehend. Oh, I'm a bit rusty. You're getting paid millions to do it. You should be on the ball. You're representing your country. For the first club, you should be on the ball. You say, oh, I'm a bit rusty. Mate, go and get warmed up, for God's sake. I don't have any time for that. I find it embarrassing to think he's got a ball 4 overs in the game, 4. And he beat Rusty. He should be Rusty. Bullshit, he should be Rusty. Does that make sense? I mean, he's bowling, 24 deliveries for what amounts to millions over a season. So I don't. Well, that's gone pretty much straight up, has it? Yeah, it looks like it has. And it's going to be dropped. I don't take it. Oh, okay. Tim David, who's the young bloke who's come in, took that with great ease. The other one was so good catching so far. We've seen catches go down with Warner, Zampa.
All the guys with the most amount of money.
And Stark as well.
All the players with the most amount of money are the rustiest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's rubbish. Amlan Bora. Hello, Amlan Bora. Good afternoon from India. Well, it's evening here. We're 5.5 hours apart now. Yeah, I mean, what do you think, guys? If you're getting paid millions to play cricket, oh, I'm rusty. You shouldn't be rusty. You should be on the ball from the first ball. You should be at your best from the first ball. You shouldn't be bowling wise. You're a professional, well-paid person. It's gone careering up. That was a difficult catch. And he caught it with a great deal of confidence.
He's very precise.
Yeah.
Where he put himself.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get the depth perception to know exactly where you need to
It's very hard to catch that. But he caught it well compared to the other 3 that dropped. Stark, Zampa, and Warner. Here we go.
Oh, that's massive.
That looks massive. It should be out of the ground. It well and truly is. Oh my God, it's out of the ground. It's up in the second tier.
Someone's going to get knocked out. Honestly.
Second. Anup, how are you? Stroke is a brilliant batsman, as that is. Anup, how are you?
I wonder if anyone's died from getting hit by a cricket ball in the
They have
crowd.
In the crowd. No, apparently, well, not yet. People died playing the game.
Yeah, they're very famous.
Looking to see Green and Warner as openers. It's going to be interesting. Our Earth is best. Would you change your name? Our Earth is best. It's not a name. Well, Australia should be Nunfa if they're going to show their wares. Geez, he gave that some, and that was off the bottom of the bat. It wasn't even off the proper part of the bat. Banners. What are you? So a couple of young guys are trying to find the ball. 8 for 128 off 18.1 overs. We're going to be 6 or 7 over, which is obviously not enough.
Oh, you got it.
They found the ball. He gets to keep it.
Yep, you didn't keep it.
Well, if that gets back onto the field, I have to use that ball. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're
What if they gave it a few little nicks?
But as long as that's the ball they've been using, they can't change the ball. If Alan can use other balls, the ball's out of shape or if it's lost. It's in later towards it. It's 8 for 128. It's not enough. You would think. You never know. So Vitini de Alves, someone is actually there. There's only a handful of people there, but someone is actually there because as someone posts something that they're there. One of very few people. So India chose Perth to come. Yeah, they did too. I don't know why. That's not one of the grounds they're going to be playing on, actually. It's a bit unusual. Well, he's just got to hold that. That's Hazelwood's fourth wicket. 4 for 27. Well, there's a DRS timer going. What are they? But it looks like this is out. Smith, Odin Smith. He's been called back as a Cottrell. That's Smith, actually.
Really good. Oop, that up.
But he walked because he must have felt the bat, so you'd think he's out. Well, show the Nick. We can't see anything from that.
Not the heat version?
Yeah, the heat map. They'll show it. Or the stickometer stick over it.
Oh, the height. What's
No,
wrong with the height?
there's a snicko, or could be a no ball, actually.
No ball?
Hang on. They're not, what are they calling? They're actually calling a no ball.
Too high.
Too high. There you go.
So what makes it too high? Is it above the shoulder?
Above the shoulder. Green is going to eat Western bowling. It doesn't eat them. Maybe it just plays well. Oh, it was borderline.
They're being nice on the West Indies team.
Yeah. And 135. They got a chance of getting 7 over here. They'll make it 6, but unless they get 25 off the last over. 8, I should say. We keep replaying this. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's above his shoulder.
Well, it is above his shoulder. It is.
Oh,
Shot.
beautiful.
He's hit the ball well. They needed 200, but they got 139 there. But they can't hit 60 off the last over, I don't think, but still. Smith 24 off 12. We've played that pretty well, too. So, what's the questions here? I saw one picture of a stadium in lights in Australia, which is too good to see. Which is that one? New Perth could well be New Perth. Yep, I think it would be. Debash's Rizwan Hader, no Moses. Oh, okay. This is excruciatingly long, this innings. One over to go. Pistons are 8 for 140. Are you watching this channel? Here we go. Everything's for 25. Oh, that wide, big fat wide. They go for 20th as it makes it interesting, but I don't know. Awful.
What was that?
Awful.
Go back to second grade.
If you're bowling wides at this level, I can't understand.
Where is the stadium? Gold Coast.
It's a bit inland.
Oh, England.
It's not the one where the rugby leagues play, which is more towards that shopping centre down there. That's another wide.
Oh, jeez. So
There's
rusty.
Metricon's like going on the way to Brisbane. It's just a bit off the Gold Coast. And the other stadium was the rugby league. What's the shopping centre down there?
That's so many.
There's another one there that's. There's a picture on the grounds right. There's no one there.
Mm.
Come on, let's hit a couple of sixes. Make it interesting. He's got a hold of that. No one someone's down there.
Mm.
Karai, the new is a leg spinner apparently. Okay, so a few balls that they should be just bowling. They shouldn't be all this discussion. Oh my God, agonising for the last over. Cricket. Australia is my team. Just don't blindly support. Just okay. Fair enough. That's clever. Give him the strike. I think that's good. Eight for 144. 8 for 144 with only 4 balls left. Really, they need to get a series of sixes here to make it worthwhile. So the bat next will Cameron Green open with Warner. It looks like it will. Mitch Marshall going 3. Aaron Finch 4. Although Maxwell and Tim David. India is a super cricket. Hello, hi, so much. We already said this, mate. So much as on Strauss Street. A little bit of off spin there.
This.
3 balls left.
It's cold up in Gold Coast as well. So I bet
Was it really?
Yeah, they're probably shivering down there. It's not fucking warm. It's cold. You have to stand around in the cold.
Really? Where did you stay?
Well, it's in the Gold Coast. Surfers Paradise.
Where?
Surfers Paradise.
What in a hotel?
Yeah, my friend's place.
Okay. So Manchester Shastri was saying so obviously, well, you'd think that would be the font. got a hold of that. Looks like there's something out there, no? 145. What's that? That's 7. Well, the 6 last should be 7.5. See, I think we'll slap at that. Steve Smith's out there, but he must be. Where is Nalakshi? I don't know where Nalakshi is. Is he busy? I should get it next time.
Repotchi?
No, Nalakshi.
Still in Sri Lanka.
No, the Indian Nalakshi.
Or Indian
Not Nalakshi.
Nilakshi.
Oh, he took care of that, didn't he? So all that for 145. Well, not all out, but 9 for 145 after 20 overs is the other way to 3 drop catches. Zampa, Warner, and Stark all have drop catches, but then Wade just run out the batsman there. They're 9 down for 145. But Adair Smith. So 145 is the score. Grass Green would not open the innings if it's the promotional cup. Well, why not? Yeah, I'll agree with that. Green is going to open. I think he will. Living Aaron Finch, he also is quite smiley. All right, you got to go, Dan. No. We might get joined in Merson shape. We'll just give him a few minutes. If he doesn't come, I'm sorry. So Mayors 39, Charles 3, King 12, Reeford 19, Puran 2, Powell 7, and like thing with that is with the Greens of the squad. I'm almost certain Mosen, Shake and I talked about. The reality is that Stoinis is not there. He's in the squad. He's out injured, and also, but yeah. So wickets went 2 to Stark, 3 to Hazelwood, 1 to the Cummings, 1 to Green. Zampa Maxwell, despite bowling, wouldn't take wickets. Okay, we might end the program there, guys. All right, guys. We'll see each other. Please add some. Our partner can't come now, but I'll be on tomorrow for the game between India and South Africa. This game will have one more game to come. So Australia have got West Indies 9 for 145 after the 20. Green and Warner likely to open with the likes of Marsh, Finch, Maxwell, and David to follow with Wade. So all the best to you guys. Stay tuned. We'll see you all tomorrow.